Hello and welcome. The focus of this course are the business reports that you see in the business tab, where you can actually look at your cash position, you can look at your profit position, and you can look at your asset balance. Now, there is a difference between these statements that you're looking at and those that prepare you for tax time. The goal of a tax statement is typically to reduce the amount of income that you would have and report to the government so that you would pay less tax. On the other hand, the goal of your financial statements, including the profit and loss statement, cash flow, as well as balance sheet, is to reflect accurately what's happening in your business so that you can make good decisions. There are two assumptions that follow. First, you should not rely on these profit and loss statements, balance sheets, or cash flow statements in order to assume that you are compliant with the taxing authorities. At the same time, you should not rely on your taxing statements to reflect whether or not your business is profitable or whether or not your cash position is sufficient. Tax statements depend on what entity your company is, as well as how you report your taxes. You will want to work with a tax professional in order to assure that Quicken is accurately reflecting on an everyday basis where your tax position is. So Quicken answers very well questions like, was the month of October profitable? Or is our cash position sufficient in order to make a big purchase in December? All of those questions can be answered by the analysis we'll be doing in this course. We do not in this course focus on your personal finances. And that's because we really want to limit the scope of the course so that we can put together a financial statement to determine whether or not we're doing well at our business. Because if our business is profitable, then we can impact our personal finances with planning and professional help. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. Now in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to work through the process of using Quicken to track the activity when we actually do contract work. And to do that, we're going to go to the Business tab, and then we're going to come over to this right side menu, and we're going to go to the Business Actions area. We're going to go to Invoices and Estimates, and what we're going to do is we're going to click the Create an Invoice link. Now when that happens, for the first time, Quicken will tell you that you're going to need to create an invoice or receivables account. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and click OK. We're going to give the account a name, and then we're going to click Next. Quicken will now tell you that you have set up an accounts receivable, and you can enter any invoices, payments, credits, or refunds in the invoices register. So once we've done that, we're going to click Finish. Now what we're going to do then in creating the invoice is we're going to write in the customer or the company. You're probably going to be working with a specific job or a specific project, and you want to write the name of that project in the next square. Now Quicken has several layouts that you can actually create and customize. We're going to use the default layout, and in another video we'll show you how to customize the default layout. You'll notice that the invoice has a number. You can actually change that if you want to something else. You'll note that there is a date that the invoice is sent, and you can actually change the due date so that you can say that the invoice is actually going to be due perhaps 24 hours after it has been sent. So we can change the due date. Once we've done that, we can actually write in to the line item the services that we are actually offering. And so we can write in here what the services are, and we can give it a dollar amount. Now when you create a category for the first time, Quicken is going to give you a menu. You can actually give this a category or a tag. We're going to call this business income. And then we're going to go ahead and write a description in here. Now what's important is that you continue to use these categories in the future. Now we can make this taxable. We can also do it so that it is per item if we want to be a little more detailed, or we do not have to. Once we've done that, we can then click OK. or we can just place in the amount category what we have negotiated. Once we've done that, we can actually also do any other line item that we want to add. Now that we have our invoice completed, we can write a message to the customer. We can then write a memo to ourselves to give us more detail on the circumstances surrounding the particular job. Now, if we have to add in lines for the invoice, we can actually do that. You'll notice that we click in the add lines just in case we need to itemize more. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click the email or send to clipboard. Now, if this is a new project, then Quicken will allow us to create a project inside of its system called Quicken Video Creation. And in this case, we can click No. We don't necessarily want to click a brand new job. Now, of course, if you want to track at that level of detail, you can certainly do so. What we're going to do now is we're going to click Email, Send to Clipboard. We're going to get a dialog box that says Quicken wants to create a new project or job. We're going to say yes. We can actually determine what the project status is, or we can leave this blank if we don't want to go to that level of detail. We can determine when a project is going to be over or when it actually ends. Once we've determined all those things, we're going to click OK for the project. Now, Quicken is going to allow us to send this invoice by email using our default email program. So what we're going to do is we're going to click OK, and then our default email program, in the case of this video, it's going to be Microsoft Outlook. Whatever you're using on your PC is what you will actually have open. We're going to click now OK. Quicken will then give you a warning. You can allow access and then click allow. What's going to happen now is that your default email program is going to open up, and you will then be able to send this invoice with anything else that you want to put into the email. And we can actually open the invoice to take a look at it. So when your client actually gets the invoice and opens it, this is what it will actually look like. Now, in another video, we're going to actually show you how you can customize this default invoice. And once the invoice has been sent, you can click Save and Done. What you would see then is you would see the actual invoice inside of a register for all of your video creation clients. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to customize our invoice that we're going to be sending to clients. We're mainly going to work with the default form, even though you can create as many invoice forms or types as you like. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this business area, and then we're going to go to the business actions, and we're going to pull the drop down menu, and we're going to go to the invoices and estimates, and then we're going to go to design invoice forms. This will open up a dialog box that will bring to you the default menu. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to design this form in the manner that you like. For example, if you'd rather not use a logo, you don't have to, or you can use a logo. If you'd like to put your company address in your invoice, you can do that. In some cases, if you're an online business, you may not want to do that. If you want to change the fonts, you can do so. Now, the main thing that you'll want to take a look at here is that each section of this invoice is customizable. So, for example, you'll notice that if we highlight the total box and we were to go to the layout menu and we would go to the item menu and we would go to properties, we can actually customize each one of the boxes that we highlight. For example, if we wanted to use sales tax, we could do that. If we want to take the sales tax back out, we can do that. If we want to work with a specific layout in this area, we can do that. We can do that by going to the properties area. And for example, if we find that quantity or rate is irrelevant, then we can take that out of our invoice. And you'll notice here then we just have a description and we have the amount. So what you want to do is you want to customize the invoice to fit your business. Again, if you're an online business, then the ship to address, that would not be relevant. You can take that out. If you find the logo is not exactly what you want, you can actually go into this box and you can customize it. Or you can decide not to have it at all. The logo will be taken out. Once you determine that the default menu fits your specifications, you can actually go to the layout and then you can click Save. Now it could be that you want to create an entirely new layout and you want to create a second default invoice. You would go to the Layout tab and then you would click New. It would ask you what kind of layout type you'd want. You can do an invoice, estimate, or credit, whatever one you'd like to have. You'd give it a name. You can give it a portrait or landscape orientation. And then you can click OK. And then the same customization elements we spoke of previously would be in place. If you want to take something out, you can click on it, go to the Item tab, go to the Properties, take out sales tax again, and you can take out the ship to address or leave it in. So anything that you want to do with this invoice that fits your business, you can actually do. Once you have created the invoice that you want, you go to the layout and then you click Save. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now we have a case where the client has looked at the work and they have decided that the first portion they are ready to remit payment for. And so you can account for that in Quicken. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the Video Creation Client's Account Receivable window. And then we're going to click on Category. And you're going to notice that there is a box at the bottom that says Receive Payment. We're going to go ahead and click that link. So we're now going to write in the fact that the client has paid part of the funds, that they did it by check. And what we're going to do is we're going to write a memo in here telling ourselves what it is that actually happened. Now when this check comes in, it has to go someplace. So we're going to work with this deposit window and we're going to place it in our business checking account. And so what we're going to do is we're going to apply $2,700 to the overall invoice, and then we're going to click Enter. So what you'll notice now is the $2,700 reflected on the invoice, that there's a $300 balance. And if we were to go to our balance sheet, we would be able to see this $2,700. And we'd see it mainly reflected in the increase in the business checking account. We can actually go to our income statement and see the same thing. And we actually now see for the month to date that there is a $2,700 sale item in our income statement. Because we are simplifying our statement, we are working primarily on a cash basis. And so our cash flow statement will be much the same as our income statement. And so you'll see that the cash inflows as of the middle of the month are still $3,200 and the expenses are primarily the same. And one of the things that you may have noticed is that our remaining invoice for video creation clients still has a balance of $300, but is currently not on our balance sheet. And you can see that here. And that is because by default, Quicken will only show you the cash method of accounting for your balances. Now you can actually change that designation to accrual by going to the Customize tab, then going to Advanced, and then changing your reporting basis to accrual. Now again, anything that you want to do in terms of reporting for taxes, you do want to check with your tax professional before you make a change. However, if you're just looking at these reports internally to accurately reflect what you actually have, what you have coming in and going out, this is another way of being able to do that. So we're going to click OK. And what you'll see here under Other Assets is an account receivable called Video Creation Clients. It's $300 and considered to be an asset, and actually raises your total assets by that $300. Now again, if all you want to reflect is the cash that you see coming in and the cash that you've actually had coming into your bank account, because that is more accurate to you, then you can go to the Customize tab, you can go back to Advanced, and then you can click the Cash button and click OK. And then you'll see that the total other assets are no longer reflected. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now you may encounter a situation where you have to issue either a full or partial refund for some of the work that you have completed. And in that particular case, what you're going to need to do is to go into your business area, and then you're going to go to the business actions, and then you're going to go to your invoices, and then you're going to go to the link that says issue a refund. Now we can actually choose the account where we're going to pay this from, but in this particular case, what we're going to do is we're going to have this paid from our business checking account. We're going to determine who the customer is, and we'll just use the drop down arrow, and we'll see that we've got one customer there. And then we can actually write in the project or the job. And to do that, we're going to use the drop down arrow. And we can actually do a refund for the amount that is appropriate for the situation. So in this particular case, we're going to do a refund of $200. And click Enter. So what we've done here is that we are going to pay from our business checking account $200. We're going to pay it back to Thomas Duncan, and we're now going to click Enter. Now when you do hit the Enter button, Quicken is going to give you a warning that says that the refund exceeds the total amount of credits and payments for the customer. Now we are going to need to issue a credit to the account. So we're going to say yes, we want to record this anyway. And you're going to notice that $200 has been refunded, but the customer's balance is now $500 instead of $300. So their balance actually went up in terms of what they owe us, unless we issue a credit. So what we're going to do is we're going to issue a credit to the same account. We can do that by going to this business menu, and then going to issue a credit from the business actions. We're going to look for the customer, and we can write in the job. And what we can do is we can actually write in the actual project. We're going to write in the amount of the credit, which is $200. And then we're going to click Enter. Now, just as we did with the invoice, we can choose to email this to the customer so that they'll actually have record of it also. We're not going to do it for the sake of this video, but you'll know that you can actually do that as well as to write in a customer message on the actual credit memo. We're then going to click Enter. So in order to properly account for a refund for a client that you have invoiced, you'll need to give them a credit for the same amount that you have actually given them the refund for. Now, in another situation, we could actually give a credit for more than the actual refund amount, and we'll actually cover that in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. In addendum to the last video, you'll notice that when we made the transfer to the cash on hand, we actually did not pay Barnes & Noble at that point. And so what we want to do in the case of the transfer is we want to make sure that there was no payee for that transfer. Now, in this particular case, it would make sense for us to keep the memo so that we know it was associated with the transfer. We could write more details in there on actually what the transaction was. Once we've done that, we will not be double counting money that we spent with Barnes and Noble. We'll actually just have spent the 21 for the actual books. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click Save. And with that, we have fully accounted for the transaction. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.